Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. Today's upload is going to touch on what a dogman or cryptid experience or encounter does to the individual, their family, and also the community surrounding them. Before we get into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. The links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. My merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe, click the like button, and please leave a comment. It really does help, and guys, it definitely matters. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with today's upload, shall we? Alright guys, so when I said an experience, when it happens, it not only affects the individual, the family, and the community. Well, I spoke with Carl out of Meeker, Colorado last night, and we talked for about 45 minutes. He shared some very interesting news with me and some very interesting details about a horseback ride he went on about 2 days ago. Actually, the same day the last time I spoke to him, he went. And I'll share that info with you guys shortly. Also, we look at law enforcement as kind of, I guess, the ones that are really hiding the truth from us. Well, I've had a Louisiana sheriff's deputy on here. I've had a sheriff's deputy out of North Carolina, and they both came on and shared their experiences. And I've had a deputy reach out to me out of Colorado, who now is in, I guess, what we'll call a desert state. Now, he doesn't want to ever come on because of his experience, which I've shared with you guys. He was stalked by a small pack of dogmen. Not small, but numbers being 6 to 7. And these experiences really changed those guys' life. But then I always kind of had the, I guess, suspicion that the majority of law enforcement knew about these things. Well, you know, there's always room to be wrong, and I'm wrong. Because not all law enforcement knows about these creatures, and when they have an experience with them, they have to deal with the same exact feelings we have after having an experience. And then I'm going to go into an experience out of South Dakota, the Black Hills. There's a young woman who shared an experience with me, and her experience blew me away. My jaw, I had to pick up off of the floor after she shared her experience with me via telephone. I'm trying to get her to come on, but it's hard for some people to want to share, and I respect that 100%. I know some subscribers that have been on here that held on to their experience for a good 10 years after. And then just happened to hear someone talk on the channel, and that kind of pushed them to come and share. So this young woman's experience out of the Black Hills is very perplexing and definitely a life changer. So let's get into it. First, I'd like to share with everyone this sheriff's deputy's experience out of a undisclosed location for now. And that way you guys can really hear what goes on after an experience that is had by law enforcement who is not aware of these things. Another perfect example, really quick, is the state trooper out of Pennsylvania who responded to a, air quotes, bear attack on the highway, got there and unloaded his service weapon on one of these creatures. Not unloaded the whole mag, but, dumped 4 shots at this thing. And it tore through the woods, running away from him and the van. Then he was introduced to a team of 2 guys who took his experience, told him to kind of shut up about it, and that was it, which really put the fear into him. And then there was another encounter that this state trooper had that resulted in a missing Pennsylvania man, his death. And this state trooper was a part of the last time this guy was seen. And then shortly thereafter, this team of, I hate using the cliche term men in black, but that's what they were, came and told these guys to shut up after unloading on this Dogman and watching it take this young man away through the woods. So yeah, law enforcement does know, but then there are the officers or deputies who don't know. So here you go. I'm scheduled to retire in 6 months, but I took a leave of absence shortly after my encounter, which will postpone my retirement. I've heard stories and gotten calls for years, and I chalked it up to misidentification or Sasquatch, which I have seen plenty in my career. My encounter happens as I was responding to a call of who I knew the residence of, the caller, which I can't disclose, due to a tragic mauling that happened years ago, which my supervisor at the time told me it was one of the worst crimes he had ever seen. So the call was a couple of guys stalked by a couple of large coyotes as they were trying to finish loading their truck for their customer for their move. I reached the property off of Old Taylor Road. It was 8 p.m., relatively getting dark. I had my lights on, so the area was well lit. I exit my car, AR in hand, went to the shed where they barricaded themselves in, was able to get them to come out. I asked them about the resident that lives here. I was told that they were moving, and they hadn't been on the property for days. They asked if I could stay as they finished up. It'd be about 30 minutes, so I obliged. They finished up and headed out. I walked back to my patrol car, which was 20 yards away. I started getting this uneasy feeling, like I was being watched. I got into my patrol car, started my report. As I was doing that, I heard a guttural growl. I look up and see a werewolf that looked like the Van Helsing one standing 15 feet in front of my car. I put it in reverse, and I was about to proceed. There was one in the rear. They had me boxed in and slowly approached my vehicle. My AR was less than a foot away, but was already secured, so it would have taken me a few seconds to unhinge it, and I felt it wouldn't be enough time before they were on top of me. As it got a foot from me, I turned on the siren and placed the PA to the radio, which caused a screeching noise. It then put its raccoon-like hands over its ears and leapt off into the brush. I took off on Main Road with the emergency lights on and speeding all the way back. I always thought that victims were not seeing what they said, convincing them that it was something else. To everyone, I am truly sorry for what you have gone through. So after hearing that sheriff's deputy state that, it really kind of, makes you really believe that not all of them know. And, it's hard for me to really kind of accept the fact that law enforcement doesn't share this and people don't overhear it, just because, it's every kind of little sect or whatever is almost like a knitting circle, people gossip and talk. And I just figured, hey, law enforcement knows about these things. I mean, I've got relatives that are in law enforcement, retired now, who worked on the Tom Mezek case. And he's very aware of cryptid existence, especially Bigfoot, because two deputies below him, as an acting undersheriff a while ago, he had to listen to what they said. On top of, hearing other departments in upstate New York talk about it. Upstate New York and Vermont, to be honest with you. So anyway, I really do. I feel for this guy because, it did. It changed his life. It really changed his perspective on everything. Which is, I guess, cool. Maybe by having this experience, he can break that wall and get other officers to come out and share their experiences with us and what they know about the inner workings of law enforcement hiding it from us. Because if they're hiding it from their own, how much do you think they're really hiding from us, right? All right. So let's get on to the next part of today's upload. So, like I said, Carl and I had about a 45-minute discussion. And when he called me, I was kind of expecting some, crazy news. Well, it is crazy. Because, there's two things that he shared with me. And one that I'm super excited about and almost can't wrap my head around it yet. But anyway, here is what Carl shared with me. So, and now after I share this, I'll tell you, I'm so excited about this. All right. So anyway, Carl contacts me. I see the number. I'm like, whoa. I was actually cooking dinner and I stopped cooking dinner completely to take the call, go in my studio, sit and talk to him. And he pretty much said, Jeff, these guys came in like the wind and they left like the wind. He said that he had seen that team back in the summertime. Then there was another, he really didn't know if it was the same people. He assumed it was, or the same alphabet agency that was in his hometown of Meeker and White River City. His son goes to high school in Meeker, which is right by a very small airport. And the last time we had talked, he said there was about 4 Little Bird helicopters out there, which are a very tactical helicopter. Very small, agile, quick, and you can equip them well. So he said, I don't know when, but as of this morning, they're gone. They were here 1 minute because they went to pick his son up from school last night, and the helicopters were not there. I'm recording this Saturday night, so Friday they went and picked his son up from school. They weren't there. When he dropped his kid off on Thursday, that's when they were aware of these helicopters. Wednesday or Thursday? Wednesday. That's when they became aware of these helicopters. They were aware of them staying in a local motel, kind of. The same day. Now, they're gone. There's no helicopters. There was no SUVs. No militarized looking vehicle. Just gone. In and out. Whether they came and hunted with a vengeance, who knows? He did tell me, though, that he and his buddy went for a ride, a horseback ride, which he does every day, at night, day, whenever, to relieve stress. He flat out said, some people work out, some people, run, some people drink. He goes, I go on a horseback ride. Well, him and his buddy went out into the area where they heard the shots, out between 15 and 30, where it V's out. And they found a section of land that looked like there had been some kind of fight there. There was vehicle tracks. There was the smell of something very rancid, he said. And they were walking around looking. He was actually looking for brass. They did not find any brass. They did find evidence of rounds hitting trees. They also found a clump of hair. which he's mailing to me. So, and not to my address and not to any address that I'm going to make aware here. Not to my parents, not to my house, not to anywhere that anyone listening that is not on Team Dogman fam could, figure out. So in about 4 days, I will have a package from my friend. Funny, too, because he was thinking just like I was. And how he sent it out is very, very sly as well. So I'm about 100% sure I'm going to have this package sitting on this desk in 4 or 5 days. And then I'm going to contact some people and I'm going to get it looked at. Have a DNA analysis or whatever I can on this. And hopefully get some answers. But I am super excited about this. Super excited. And the main thing that I wanted to say at the beginning of all this was he said that if it is quiet for the next couple of days and I receive that package, he will come on and he will share everything that he knows that has went down in White River City in Meeker, Colorado, which I am so excited for that too. Yeah. Wow. And for those of you that are listening and that may be thinking it's going to get intercepted, good luck, because not to you, but to whoever may want to intercept it. There's no way in heck that it's going to, because it is two great minds came together and we thought of a way, and there is no way anyone could figure it out because it is so wild. So anyway, that's some exciting news. I'm stoked. Let's get on to the next part of the upload. All right, so 6 months ago, I received an email from a young woman out of South Dakota, the Black Hills. I said, I'd love to talk with you. I'd love to have you on. Let's talk. She's got a young son. She does not want him to remember their experience, so she kind of had to wait for him to either go to a relative's for overnight or be asleep. Finally, we connected and talked. And she really wanted to just share the experience verbally to me and then maybe come on and share it. So the experience goes like this, and it's mind-blowing. And the reason why I'm sharing it now is because same reason as I'm sharing Carl, because she reached back out to me yesterday on Friday once again and said, hey, I think I'm ready to come on and share my experience. Which I was like, yes, I am. So, and I've been texting this person, not every day and not every month, but periodically, like maybe once every month or whatever, every other month. I mean, just to say, hey, are you okay? Are you willing to come on? Whatnot. And I got a response finally on Friday night. So her experience goes like this, and it's been 6 months. So the exact detail, there are some details that I'm probably gonna leave out or miss, whatever. But She was on a hike a while back and the Black Hills, and she had come across a young kind of dog at first, is what she thought it was. And it was in pain. And she saw that its back paw, was caught in a trap. And it couldn't free itself. It was literally a young juvenile, so it was not as strong as a large one. This is several years back. So she's like, wow, this poor animal, I don't know what to do. If I help it, it will bite me. If I don't help it, it will starve to death or chew its paw off and die. And this woman is a very brave soul. She went and reached down and freed it from the trap. She was terrified that it was going to bite her, nip her, or something. It ran. So she bends down and looks at this pup, Dogman. It's not big. It's probably a year old, maybe. She said it weighed about 80 pounds. She bends down and she looks at it, and she can almost see understanding in its eyes. And she, to her amazement, is able to release this, what she thought at that point was a wolf, from this trap. And it kind of, after it's released, it kind of looks back at her and just takes off. So years go by, about 5 years. She has her kid, her son, and her son is about 6 months to a year old. He's in one of those carry slings that you can either put on your back or your front. So he can't be, too old, too heavy for one of those things. So he's 6 months to a year. And she's back hiking in that same location. Now, she didn't know this creature was anything but. She thought that it was just a wolf, a young wolf. And she goes back to hike. She's having a decent day until she gets to a section of the hills. And she remembers walking into this kind of section of the trail that kind of, she was trapped on 3 sides. So she could kind of like a V, if you walk into a V, with, the hills of the Black Hills, the wall. So she looks and sees this creature standing up in front of her, and it sees her and proceeds to come down at her. At that time, she feels some kind of nudge, and there are 3 bipedal canines between the creature that's coming off the hills and her. She has no idea what this thing is. She has no idea what the other dogmen are. She just knows that she's got her baby with her. And like I said, it's been 6 months. So I'm just giving you a brief rundown of exactly what I remember. But when she comes on, as blown away as I was, you will be blown away. And at the end of how I'm sharing this, you will realize why I was so blown away. They proceed to move the woman and her baby. She's sheltering her baby from this creature. Now, she said it resembled the other dogmen, but it was very strange looking too. She said kind of mutated, just really ugly. They get her to where she is safe, and she can hear kind of a fight erupt between two of the dogmen and this kind of creature. The one that's taking her and her child to safety is walking kind of with her, keeping her safe, keeps looking back. And she's at a safe location. She looks at the creature finally that escorted her away from the altercation that's going on now. And she sees a scar on its foot. I don't remember exactly what foot it is, so I'm not going to say right or left, but the same side that this trap was on that wolf so many years ago. And she had never heard of Dogman or anything like that. She can see that the compassion, the understanding in its eyes. She realizes that it's the same creature she had freed 5 years prior, returning the favor to her. Pretty amazing. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here trying to remember exactly every detail of how it went, but I cannot do it any justice. I gave you the best kind of preview of that I could remember from 6 months ago, but the most important thing of that is the protection that these dogmen did and the favor returned because she did a good deed to that creature. Truly amazing. I can't wait until she comes on and shares it because it's really a kind of a beautiful or heartfelt experience, minus the fact that some kind of mutated dogman was lurking these Black Hills. But anyway, so she texted me last night and said, hey, I'm ready. I texted her back and said, let me know a time and date that works for you. And I am so excited about that. So hopefully it will be within the next week, I guess, maybe I can interview her. But yeah, so once again, sorry, I'm trying to remember every detail that I can. I've literally got my eyes closed, just pinching my fingers together, trying to remember every detail, but I cannot because it was, like I said, 6 months ago. So, but that gives you, like a human being, there are really violent and terrifying humans. And then there are really compassionate humans. Well, it can be the same with Dogman, I guess, too. So, with that, we got a really good couple of days ahead of us. So, thank you all for listening, and I'm sorry for kind of rambling with that because I really wanted to give it some justice, but I can't, man. It's so freaking good, and I cannot wait until she just comes on and shares it herself because you guys are going to be like, my God, that really kind of flipped the script, literally. So, thank you all for your support. It truly means the world to me. Stay safe, everyone, and may the Great Spirit guide us down that path that we call life.